o'clock. Good morning, good morning. We're here. Good to go?
Yep, good to go.
Good to go, awesome. I am ready. Wow, it's going to be a busy day today. The sun's shining, we got that fall vibe going on. The Husker game isn't till this afternoon.
Yeah.
That gives us a small window of time that you can come hang out with me a little bit.
Good morning, it's Cynthia.
Hi,
Husker
Cynthia.
sounds good.
Cynthia, what is the status of the sound of my microphone? You're the test person this morning. We can always count on our loyal Facebook gals to keep us on track with our sound and our volume and how well they can see. So let me know if you're not seeing well, not hearing well. It's Kate's fault if that is the case.
Sure.
We have a live audience this morning. We got a dozen gals here also joining us. We're sipping some cider. We're enjoying the fall vibes. Downtown is amazing in the fall. I just love getting here in the morning and seeing the sun come up in the east and the whole downtown and the canopy of beautiful trees and the leaves are on the sidewalk and everybody's got such cool shops. It's just like the best time to be in downtown Norfolk. So make sure you get out and about and experience that when you're done here today and check out our downtown. My name's Amy. I'm one of the owners of Magnolias. Kate is my daughter behind the camera. You can't hear her. She's not mic'd up today, but she's there and she'll be taking questions. So if anybody in the Facebook Live audience has a question, jump on and ask me. If you guys have a question, don't be afraid to throw it out there. You're not on the microphone. I'll repeat your question so everybody can hear it, but it's not a super formal class. If I'm not making something clear, don't be afraid to ask me. What we're going to do today is set up a tree, shape it, talk about the lighting system on this particular tree. We're going to do a topper, we're going to do the floral stems, the ornaments, show you how to make a bow, because that's a big deal. Jane right now is finding some ribbons so that everybody will have a ribbon sample to practice with while we're doing the class. That's kind of fun. We will also talk a little bit about outdoor porch pots, some of the specialty decor that we carry, and things that you might not find anywhere else, and talk about how those additions can make your home unique and different for Christmas this year. So it seems early to a lot of people stopping in the store to see a full-blown Christmas store, but wow, our shoppers who are regulars have been on it this year. We are on our toes building trees every single day. This tree design is going to be a kit today once I complete it. So all these platinum beautiful things, including my very, very favorite poinsettia, are going to be part of the look. And this is a kit, and the kit is something you can buy
it's
today.
$415.
Okay, $415 is the total price.
Pre-packed. I don't think you put the ornaments in last night.
I did not. We stayed late last night creating 6 kits so that we'd have enough if you guys want them today. If it's just inspiration, that's helpful too, because we're going to show you the tips, the tricks, and the techniques for putting the pieces together. But for those of you watching online, you can pick that kit up.
It is online. It just doesn't have a photo. So they'll go to kits and they'll see a naked spot. $415.
So if you're not catching what she's saying, online we have a kit section. There's only a few items in the kit section, and if you see the one thing called, what'd you call it? Winter's Glow, then you're going to know that's the one, and that's the one you're going to be able to choose with no picture, but we'll show you the full finished result here shortly. The first thing I'd like to do is talk about the trees that we sell here at Magnolias. We have less trees than normal that we're selling this year. I can probably not show very easily the quality features, but I can try. I don't want to unplug this because it's a spinning plug-in here. This is one of the trees we have in stock and available to walk out the door today. We have it in a 7-foot, this is a 7.5, and we also have it in 9 feet tall. This is the Belgium tree, and it does have LED lights, so I'm curious how it might look on the camera. Sometimes LEDs look quite yellow on a camera, but in person it's a beautiful, soft, warm white color. We do multi-tip trees, and the reason is because I'm always selecting a tree for the purpose of decorating it. I think about how is this going to work and function the way we decorate trees. I like the long tips because it makes the tree look nice and full, but I need a lot of these small skinny tips here because those are the pieces that I use to twist things into the tree or to hook on really heavy ornaments so you can bend them and know that the weight of your ornament will be supported by that sturdy tip and you won't lose your glass onto the floor. I also like to make sure the pole of the tree is completely covered in PVC, so our trees will not have naked metal poles. That is my pet peeve. I don't like that. I also want to make sure that my trees have these metal ring construction, so this wire stem is hooked through the metal ring, and it's not simply resting in a little cupped bracket. It's secured through that ring, so no matter what I do with that branch, it's not going to be able to unhook or break out of the bracket. So those are some of the features I look for when I'm choosing trees. This particular tree has a specialty lighting system. It is the LED rice light that they call a 5mm rice light. And you guys can probably see where you're sitting, and the camera may not, but it's a really small LED. It's like half the size of a regular light bulb. And this is going to be a very long life tree, but it also has some specialty tree features. I think this is $675. I'm going to check in a minute here. Yep. This has 8 different settings. So I don't know if you want the sparkle and glow function, but it's there. You can do a combo. There's waves, there's chasing, flashing, just a stationary setting, something that's just nice and twinkly. So all of those LED this is headache mode right here. The slow fade mode. Let's see if I can get it back to steady on. There we go. So there is a step switch on our trees. And then with hinge construction, your 7.5-foot trees in 3 sections. A 9-foot tree is also available in a box. And the 9-foot tree also has LED lights, but they are the standard regular size LEDs without the 8 setting to keep it a little less expensive. So this year, the 9-foot tree, also in a slim, that's 49 inches across, is $915. And this tree that I'll be demonstrating today is $675 with what they call these little rice lights, the 5mm rice lights. So it's partially set up when you're assembling your tree for the first time, or maybe you've got trees at home and you've never used the shaping techniques that I show. You can really get maximum fullness out of your tree if you pull the tips back, every single one, back and up. I don't shape any of them under the branch. I only go up and above the branch. And that's because if you're shaping the tops of every branch, you're going to be naturally filling in all the spaces easily by working them up to the top of each surface. We really don't need them going down below. The other thing that happens is that these things are packed and shipped straight from overseas, so every branch is super straight and very, very flat. If you pull them back and give them a little bit of a curve, you're going to actually achieve a more natural look and a fuller look. So what you want to do is just really regroup all these little pieces and break up the stick straight flatness that they came with in the box. So I'm actually kind of shaping with a C curve, and it's curving this way as I shape. So it makes a huge difference towards the top of the tree where every little branch counts. And if you're getting this straight out of the box, I recommend putting the base section in your stand first, lean over it, shape it all the way to the center pole before you put the next piece on, because it's so much easier to reach it if you're not having to fight inside like this. So it's little tips like that that make it easier. I mean, the biggest tip, of course, is get a whole bottle of wine and a friend, because it's more fun, or a good movie or something, because you're going to have the best results straight out of the box if your tree really has been shaped well, and you'll have maximum fullness on the look of it. So those are my top tips for this Belgium tree, and these are available for pickup in the store. I don't think we're shipping trees, but I guess you can get a shipping estimate if you're really, really desperate. Shipping isn't pretty these days. So the other rules of thumb for doing tree setup is I start at the top of the tree and I work my way down. I start at the inside, work my way out. We're going to do the topper first. So I believe if I scoot this forward, I've got it on a little rolling stand, by the way. We do sell the rolling stand that can hold a 7.5 or a 9-foot tree, and it is $39. It has locking casters on it that I think are either up or down to lock. I don't remember. Down to lock, so I don't crawl around on the floor. Okay. And then if we work on the topper first, we're going to do our stems right down the center of the tree. So the beauty of a lighted tree with the wires on it, is that our wires actually aid in supporting all the stems that we're going to put up in the topper, because they're winding around here. When I place my stems, it's going to give me some sturdiness and secure them without ever having to use wire also. So we're going to work in a whisper grass first. This is a single stem, and because it's so full, I'm only going to use one. It has a real pale kind of warm gold to copper accent to it. Let me put that one.
When you get the kits, the tree
Okay.
individual stem bundles wrapped individually.
That's true. We do sort them in the kit so that you don't have to wonder what goes where. You'll have this video to watch because this will always exist attached to the item online. But we also will have all these bundled together and you'll be able to pull them out and go, okay, that's my topper. Then we're going to use two. So we've got one of the feather grass, using only one because it's full. We're using two of these guys because it just seems to only need two for the fullness of the little money pod uke here. Money pod eucalyptus in a nice silver color. So we're going to put one of those on each side of the top. And in your home, if you have 8.5-foot ceilings and you're concerned that you're going to hit the top of the ceiling with your tree trims, then instead of going straight up, give your stems a little bit more of a fanned out shape. And that flared out shape with everything will get it close to the top of your ceiling, but not look like it's bumping into it, and you won't have to squish it down so low in the tree as well. Then we're going to use 3 of these pretty rose leaves, and we are really into this champagne color this year. Champagne, or one of my sales reps calls it gilver. It's kind of a cross between gold and silver. So if you have an all gold tree or an all silver collection of trims, you might find that adding this tone of champagne really softens everything up. Somehow it just makes it look more expensive, a little more elegant. We have a lot of trims this color, and we have a lot of ornaments this color too. So I'm just going to drop 3 of those. I don't know if I can see what I'm doing on the opposite side of this tree. I'm going to make an effort. And we're going to drop 3 of those around the center. Watch me struggle. The struggle's real. Okay. And this one will kind of wrap around the back. So we're decorating a tree with the idea that 2/3 of your tree is most likely going to be viewed. I mean, hardly anybody puts their tree in the middle of a floor anywhere where you get to see all 360. Occasionally it's at the base of a staircase that's open, and you do. So that's one reason. The other thing we need to do is put a bow on the top of our tree. So there's more than one way to do ribbons. Every tree in the store, and we have 5, has a different type of ribbon construction on the tree. This is a bow style that is pretty simple, but people most often ask me about this, so that's why we demonstrate it for our workshops. We use a bolt each, and our bolts are 10 yards almost always, and we use about 3-inch ribbon almost always. And with each bolt and 10 yards on a 7.5-foot tree, this is half of the bolt of 2 kinds, so 5 yards each of 2 different colors. If we do the 5 yards and we use a bow on each side of the topper, and at your house, if you are concerned that your stems are going to fall off your tree because maybe the wiring on your tree isn't securing all the topper stems and they're falling out, at this point your ribbon is going to help secure all that for you. Just the wire, putting it across there. And then we're going to show you how to tuck those tails in. So that's using half of a bolt, and we're going to achieve that look that the ribbon goes all the way around the topper by cheating with 2 pieces. Often people say, I just want a really big bow for the top of my tree. If you put a really big bow up there, it's virtually impossible to stretch it around and kind of make it look like it's covering the whole top of the tree. So if you bump 2 bows back to back below your topper, you're going to get that look, and you're not going to struggle. You don't want to struggle so hard. Okay, well, Jane, if you've got ribbon, we're going to do a little bow workshop here. We'll get you gals some ribbon to mess with and be able to figure out if this is something you can learn today, or you got to go home and practice more. We'll have a small student as well. See if she can take a stab at it. She could surprise everyone. So with our ribbon, doing these bows is a little easier than trying to make like a perfect bow for a package or something. Historically, everybody talks about a bow with a nice center loop, and then we're going to build out multiple loops beyond that and make it really nice and full with loops and loops and loops and loops. So the thing about a Christmas tree is if you're trying to wire it in and put it anywhere in the tree and secure it, you're going to wire it down onto the branch, and a whole bunch of that ribbon just gets sucked into your tree. And look how much you'd waste by trying to create that troublesome center loop and making so many loops. You don't really need that much ribbon. You only need a little bit just to get that look of loops in the tree. So to make it easier, I skipped the center loop idea, And you're using just one type of ribbon, no big deal, but you've got, none of you really have front and back, so, oh, you do, yours will be easier. If you have a front and back to your ribbon, it's easy to see where you're at, but I'm gonna stack 2 types so that you'll be able to see which way's up and which way's down here. We'll be using the 2 ribbons together and pinching them at the end. You'll practice with your single ribbon, probably. And if you just use 1 layer of ribbon, it'll be easier for you to get the idea of how this feels to twist it. So once you've got your first pinched area, we're going to create a first loop. And our loop can be whatever length you like. I kind of figure it's like the longest palm of my hand, kind of. It's maybe 4 to 5 inches long. I don't start out with very short loops because, again, they kind of just get sucked into the tree. So on my sample here, you can see now that I've created 1 loop, the wrong side of my ribbon is up, and I need to bring the right side up. So I'm going to flip it over with a half turn twist. I'm going to do it one more time. It doesn't matter if you flip it this way or if you flip it this way. The trick is just give it a nice pinch, a nice clean flip, and that pinched area by flipping your ribbon over is what you've got to start hanging on to with your thumb and index finger. And that's the trickiest part of building a bow. So by reversing my ribbon, flipping it over, giving it a sharp pinch and flipping it, I've now set myself up for the second loop. So the loop kind of comes towards me, goes back under, and creates a similar size loop to the first one. Who's feeling like that's comfortable? Nobody? Somebody? You get the idea. I mean, the basic premise is, in order to build the loops back and forth and keep the right side of the ribbon up, you have to keep flipping it over. You can flip it away from you, you can flip it towards you, but you do have to get it flipped over there and ready to go with your next loop. So then I can flip and twist, and my second set staggers just slightly longer than the first set. Great, you've got it. And when you build them back and forth and you practice at home, as soon as you get comfortable and confident with just holding those twists, you're getting it. That's the whole thing that drives everybody crazy. You're getting it.
No,
yeah.
What drives everybody crazy is that you make it look easy.
Oh. It's my job to make it look easy. Last year I estimated I tied over 400 bows. That was one season alone. I mean, over the years, who would know how many? So in the sample that we've got going on our tree, I have just made 3 loops each side of center. So you don't have to hang on to it very long. You don't have to do too many loops if you're using 2 kinds of ribbon, because as soon as I get a wire on that, my bow is going to get a lot fuller. I usually use a pliers here to wire this down. I can see that I don't have one. Let's grab a pliers. So what I've done is tied my 5 yards into the first bow, and now I've got the second 5 yards here into the second bow. Does anybody have any questions on bow tying?
Professional.
Yeah, look at you go. You know how many years I've been coming and watching it? That's the first time
We've got a loyal attendee tying a bow. Success, success.
You did awesome.
Look at you go.
Way to go, Sharon. So if you had more than 1 ribbon in your hand at this time, you would be fluffing them up and pulling them apart. Great, everybody's getting the hang of it. So take that old ribbon out when you get home and practice. You can watch the video and practice. So then our 6 loops double up and become 12. Our bow becomes nice and full. And that is the other 5 yards that goes on the other side of the top of the tree. Any questions, Kate? Are we getting there? Everybody's still trying to practice. I guess we should have made that clear on the pre-roll video, is that you've got to get your ribbon and hang out with us.
Morning, Sarah. Good morning, Sarah.
Hey, Sarah, how are you today?
Dedicated.
Sarah, when you come in to visit, we're going to go get cocktails. Okay, this is going up on the other side. Now, if I'm successful from where you're seated, these 2 bows tied into the tree together tightly. I don't want to wire myself where I can't remove this, but they're going to start forming the look of 1 bow at the top of the tree. If you were doing a angel or some kind of focal point on the top of your tree, you could still use the item. You would just want to put it between the 2 bows right in here, below your topper, and add the ribbons as an accent on the outside of that. How am I doing, Kate? Did I get them together?
I think you put your bow closest to you a little too far over.
Towards me?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me shift it around. All right. If you wanted to make your bows go all the way around the back and have 3 bows with 3 sets of tails, you would need to start cutting into another set of ribbon. So this ribbon is not an expensive one. It's a little, it's affordable and it's sheer and light, so it doesn't look bulky on your tree right away. We've got kind of a champagne gold and then an acanthus design, a little leaf design in silver. So as we're running our, yeah, I need to get on the ladder and fix that. It's falling out. I think it's because I tied it on that side of the tree. We're going to fix that topper, and then we're going to put a little bit of the tails through the tree and show you how to do that. Okay, I'll do this, and then I'll get out of your way. So our topper, like I said, if you had an angel or something that you were wiring up into the top of your tree, you would want to put that in front of the top and use some wire to secure it. I don't know a lot of people doing angels on trees anymore. It used to be the thing. But, you know, we've been at this for 25 years. So we've seen it all. Seen it all, done it all, I think. There we go. So with the little shaping, you can get your bow loops and everything kind of comes together in the middle and you've created something that looks like it's really balanced up there. Okay, we're going to call it done on the top of the tree. So next thing up, we're going to have our ribbon running down the tree, and I do arrange the ribbon right away, mostly because if you're trying to go back after you've decorated your tree and tuck your ribbon in, you're just going to end up moving everything. So I give the ribbon some nice swoops, and when you do that, you can just kind of lightly loop it out a little bit, and then you can use your tree pieces to secure it in place. Let's go back over here so I can get my flowers in. And I can actually take 2 pine tips and twist them to hold my ribbon in place so it doesn't come out. Because I still have to do all the ornaments and place all the flowers, and I don't want it falling out. While I've used my 2 yards into the bow, I'm running 2.5 yards down my 7.5-foot tree. So everybody asks me if I have a 9-foot tree, what do I do? You're going to have shorter tails on your 9-foot tree if we're doing this formula, because this is only going to run down 2/3 the length of your tree. If you need longer tails, you have to put less ribbon into the loops on top. Okay, and that way we can get this looped in there and secured. And you don't even have to have it like exactly balanced left and right like this. It can kind of be offset. I don't think there's a super hard and fast formula for how to place this in the tree. It also might depend on how thick the ribbon is. If you use 3 kinds of ribbon, like in some of the trees out in the front of the store, you're going to have a lot more vertical strips to place, so it takes a little bit more work. You can let the tails, you can tuck the last bit of the tail all the way in and secure it. You could just give it a nice little spiral and let it hang in a little spiral. More than one way to end it too. Okay, so the ribbon in place. If you needed more, get another bow made for the back. Then you'd have 3 strips and you'd have an extra 5 yards that could go on your mantle or go on your garland on your railing, make some bows there. Someplace that you maybe want a little of the extra matching coordinating ribbon. Okay, we're going to do some stem sets. So years ago when we started selling flowers, we knew we loved flowers and trees. We sold lots of flowers for trees, but that's pretty much all we did. And people loved items and picked out what they thought was pretty and went home and did something. And then they'd come back and show me their picture on their little tiny flip phone and go, "This is not right. Something's wrong with my tree. What did I do wrong?" And I thought, okay, we got to figure out some structure because people don't know how many to buy. They don't know how to place them. We don't have a pattern. We need something you can follow. So we kind of started evolving the idea of making a stem set, which is kind of a Magnolias thing, just in order to help you figure out a quantity and a placement plan so that you could get home and be more successful at it. So you can stack things together. The trick is the combination should be contrasting. You want something full that will be at the base of it. You want something that's kind of an airy, wispy piece to stick out of your tree a little bit. And then usually people enjoy a really cool focal point flower. So if we take those same stems and stack those up, and we're going to put our first set right in the middle of the tree here. We actually have really long stems and a narrow tree, so I'm going to do this trick, which is slick if you don't want to cut items off. And we're going to lay that on the branch of our tree here. And now, instead of the chaos of a bunch of little pieces tucked in randomly, your eye will be instantly drawn to this nice, cool stem set, because it's creating it. Oh, good point. Thank you. Now we got a little bit trailing out. So it's even going to make our tree look more dramatic to have things trailing out of it. The other thing Kate's reminding me I need to tell you is that poinsettias especially, and magnolias, like all Christmas flowers, have lots of flatness to them. So we're going to, instead of allowing that flower to be flat, like it ran into the wall, and skim the edge of the tree like this, we're going to give all these bigger headed flowers a tilt up so that it stair steps into the tree like this. That way your eye is going to start being drawn into the tree as we decorate it, and we'll have pieces trailing out, so it really becomes more dynamic, and you'll start getting a lot more dimension out of your tree look. I am throwing stuff on the floor and not picking it up because of the video, deliberately. That's okay. So I also should have probably pulled all these stem sets apart while I was at it. That would have been helpful. And I have a rose leaf that you might have to tell me about here. That one. Oh, that goes up on top?
No, those are the extras on
Okay, so we're going to go back in and layer. Our kit is going to come with 3 sets like this. So at home, the rule of thumb, no matter whether the flowers are from me or what you're trying to create, if you have a 7.5 foot tree, I usually recommend let's go with at least 5 sets of stuff. Now the reason we want 5 is because if you want to start out making some kind of an impact at minimum and not look like you skimped, just go with 5. And then after that, if you're going to increase things, up it by odd numbers. So put 5 things in your tree, put 7 things in your tree, 9 things, something like that will work better.
Nope. Wrong thing.
Rose leaf, right here. 1 more of these. Then I'll have 3 sets that will be in this kit. Okay, we're also using snowy branches, mostly because the inspiration tree, if you've seen it online, or did you guys even get a chance to look at the front of the store, the very front door tree is called Winter's Glow, and it's made on a snow tree. So we included in the kit some snow branches for each stem set so that you can start softening up the look with a little bit of snow.
That's what
Thanks, that's what I need. Whoops. I'm throwing it on the floor, and it's just like, do you remember years ago that, Kate will have no clue what this reference is, Gallagher?
Yes. Smashing water.
Smashing watermelons. If you're on the front row, see, you got to be older to know what Gallagher was a comedian, in the 70s? And his comedy show, he would smash watermelons, and everybody in the front rows had to have plastic sheets because in our workshops you get glittered if you're in the front row. It's just the little hazard of attending today. And then when you go to the grocery store, people ask, they feel compelled to tell you have glitter on your face, and they're like, you have a little, I know. It's everywhere, I know. Okay, got that stem set?
Yeah.
Then we need another style of stem set. So then this one has this, and this. Okay, so we've got 3 placed here in a pattern that's going to make sense in a moment. Everybody has imagined, and you all know what a number 5 playing card looks like. The dots on a number 5 playing card. Imagine that as the center. Here's the lower left, the lower right. And then we're going to add a couple more pieces here to fill it out. We're going to do 4 of these, I think. Is that right, Kate? Okay. So we're going to actually go up to 7 on our pattern today instead of 5. But again, the basic layout is going to be a design of 5 pieces in your tree.
It has 3 large stem bundles and 4 small stem bundles.
Okay. So to repeat what she's reminding me, The kit's coming with 3 of this large flower accent. And now the small flower accent is going to be a angel pine spray, so a little different type of pine. And we're getting a bit of snow on your tree just to soften up the look of it, because when you start laying all the platinum and metallics in a tree that's just green, you have a lot stronger contrast, but you can really soften up your tree with snow pieces. So at the end of this placement here, once I've shown you everything that comes in the kit, I'll show you what it looks like to add in the extra trims that could include more snow branches to get you a little bit more of a softened up look to your tree. I'm gonna lay this one up here. See, normally I would go over there where the camera is and see how I'm doing. Now I've just gotta look from the side view. And to keep it all in the camera, I'm probably gonna work, more of this towards the front of the tree so you can all see it. Where at your house, you might be working more of it around to the back and sides a little bit. So our basic 5 is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'll put number 5 right there. Go over this way with it. But we have all kinds of pine greenery with snow. I bet we've got a good 10 different types here in the store, specifically because people right now think they love a snow tree, but you don't always want to own a snow tree. So there's some tricks of the trade to get that look. Snow trees are messy. Who has one that's covered? Do you? Do not wear black yoga pants when you set up a snow tree. Number 1 rule. You'll never get it off. Yeah. That's why the roller stand's so good, because if you have a hard floor at your house, you set up your tree, make a huge mess, roll your tree out of the way, clean the floor, and roll it back. Works really well. Here and at my house. Okay, that is number 3, I think. Here's number 4. There we go. And this one, we have one more back over here we can add in. So now that we've got 7 stem sets in, you're getting the maximum effect of how that would lay out for 7. So 5 is basic, 7's adding a little bit more, and 7 is what you get with the kit. 4 small and 3 large. The stack of the stem kit is to put the fatter thing on the bottom. In this case, this pine spray isn't as wide as the first one, but it does shape out a little bit. Then I use the flat fern spray next because it is wider also. And you want to shape that, curve it, soften it up a little bit. Then I'm laying this spiky piece on there because it has 3 sections to it. It fans out really nice. And then lastly, my dogwood. And this little piece is a pretty metallic color. And it's got a couple parts to it that lays out. And in our smaller tree, we're bending the stems because in this little live I don't want to cut anything. But at your house, you sure could. So depending on how you feel about cutting stems, bending is the other option. Okay, so now we've got it all filled out. Look how much wider our tree is looking. It actually looks bigger than the way it came. So that can give you a nice illusion also if you're not happy with the size of your tree. Okay, ornament time. So once you've got your ribbons on and you've found places for them without having to fight for it because you were able to do that first, and then you get your accent stems right in place. Now we've got a good balance to it. Let's start filling in with ornaments. So your kit's going to come with some larger ornaments, some big round standard size 3-inch ball ornaments, and then I have a few things beyond the kit as well. So we're going to get 4 of these. One thing about ornaments that I find is just a helpful tip. It's not like a big life-altering tip, but it is funny. People seem to walk up to their tree and they hunt for the tip to hang the ornament on. So rather than doing that, what if we just decided I want my ornament to sit here? This is where I want to place it. Now what's the tip that needs to hold it in place? Well, that one back there. So you take the hanger up to the tip rather than trying to hang your ornament and get it to stay where you want it to. Just reverse engineer that idea. It's a small tip, but it can make a huge difference when you're trying to do something that is really large or if it's heavy. I'm also giving some thought to putting these larger size pieces deeper in the tree. And the reason I would do that is because your your flowers are starting to draw your eye in, and some of them are trailing out. And by using your ornaments deeper in the tree too, they can become background for other things. I probably shouldn't keep stepping in front of the camera. One of those things. I don't think through all of my moves here. But you'll be able to use your basic, everybody's got those basic ornaments that are glass that come in a box of 6 or something, nothing special, the tops pop off. Yes, see, then you all nod when I say that. We all have them. These are cool, they're inexpensive, they're $7.
Those like 2 days ago.
Yeah, they're gonna be gone, but they're in the kit. You get 4 of these guys, and I don't know what they're called, but they're kind of spiky and metallic. That's good. So if you use those metallic glass bulbs with the tops that pop off, even if they're scratched, even if they're kind of the wrong shade of gold or kind of the wrong shade of red, just tuck them deep in the tree. Generally, they are shiny and metallic, so they're going to reflect the light. And these guys kind of show you that idea, but when they're deeper in the tree and your lights are well lit through your tree, then you're going to have that interior kind of reflection that really draws your eye into the tree, and that creates dimension. So another great tip that way. And you become, your tree will become fuller. So if you tuck them in farther, by the time you layer your other ornaments on top of them, you're not going to be focused on that ornament. It's just as filler. So I'd say use them anyway. I'm gonna tuck this guy deep in there just to fill a space, to show a little metallic, and to make sure it's placed deeper for layering. Let's see, what else do we have? A couple of glass ones. So the glass is going to really reflect the light well. We don't want to hide him. He's going to be something you want front and center because he's a showstopper. We have these cute little lanterns that are going to go on the tree here. And the thing I love about this particular tree is it has really good layering. Notice that there's kind of like spaces between the branches, and things are not getting, they're not ending up laying on the branches below because we have lots of in and out surfaces here. So our glass shows, we've got some beautiful little accent stems, or accent ornaments too. It's gonna come with 2 stars, and these are a really pretty gold. These stars are $8. And we're gonna get 2 deer. So some ornaments, a little bit of a starter for you, but we're always assuming you probably have some things at home that you wanna use too. These are acrylic, what do you call it, mercury looking deer. So we're just kind of layering and putting, it doesn't hurt to put ornaments in front of other ornaments. You can do them in clusters where sometimes the contrast of a decorative piece or a clear piece or a detailed piece with a solid color behind it might help it show up more. Or an ornament that's red placed deep in the tree, when you layer your clear thing in front of it, you might give it life by having color behind it. So just thinking about some layers might also be helpful. I'm gonna not move around and stay right here and hook these on where I can reach. So that's the end of the kit here. We had 4 of each of the 2 different marbleized balls, both the marble and the gold shreddy ones. So a total of 8. There's 2 of these glass ones, and we had 2 of the stars, 2 of the deer, but it's giving you some tips on placement as well. A couple more things that people tell me about collections. Does anybody collect Danbury mint ornaments or Swarovski crystal ornaments or tiny little detailed ornaments that get lost in your tree? Oh, I forgot my 2 lanterns. Has anybody ever gone to take your tree down and your glass ornaments fall to the floor and break because you missed them? That happens a lot. So when people have those kind of display pieces and have a hard time featuring them, we have a trick we call using an extender branch. So this would be an add-on item. It's not in the kit, but this branch is only $8. And this is a glitter, what do we call this glitter? It's an opalescent glitter. There's a name for it.
I said Michael one day, but I don't think that's right.
We'll move on. All right, a special glitter that you can see has lots of color to it. And I've used this branch for a demo a couple times here. It's an $8 stem, and if you're gonna search for it, this one's called the 35-inch glitter twisted branch. So that one is super sturdy. You can see that the weight of the wire is heavy duty. We're gonna use one of these just to show you an accent idea. I'm gonna lay this off the top surface of this branch and run it down my tree a little bit, and I'm gonna expect it to hold some ornaments here. So just to make sure it doesn't slip out of the tree, I'm gonna cross 2 of the pine tips kind of where the Y of the branch is so that I know it can't slip out. And if you were hanging weighty things on it, that would be an important step. And you'd also want it on a surface of a branch that's sturdy. So now I've got it in there. It's not going to come out of the tree. And then these branches can hold your extras. So here's a fun additional add-on. We carry boxes of birds. I suppose you're going to search white glitter bird. This is a box of 5 for $25. And these little guys have clips on the bottom. I'll show you. Really cute. Little, with little wood wings, cute little beak, and he's got a nice clip on him. So we can use that to extend some of our ornaments out of the tree, add some accents like this to the tree. So now we really have a lot of dynamic things happening. The ornaments are tucked deep in, the flowers are drawing your eye in, some of the flowers are kind of trailing out of the tree. And then you get these little guys really drawing your eye out. Look how fun that is. If you've got small detailed items that you're collecting that you really want to show off, like here's a pretty new, we don't even have this on a tree yet, Kate, it just showed up. A little rhinestone drop. This looks like jewelry, like you could wear it. It's a $9 rhinestone piece. So now we could add that to our accent branch as well. So even during the day when the light catches all of these trims and shines through the glass pieces, it's really even pretty during the day. So you can get those out front and center so they can become showstoppers. If you do a 9-foot tree, it's usually pretty easy to put 3 of those on because you can keep them high. If you have tiny people at your house, only do 2. I'm looking at Tiffany. So that you can keep them up high above their heads and put the things on there that you don't want them to be able to reach. Or pets, that's true. Yeah, dogs bump into trees with their tail and break things all the time. So those are some of the fun tips that we share here at the store, and we show these branches on every tree in the store in some way. We've got a different colored one, or there's ice-covered branches. We have glass icicles, other beautiful trims that can hang out of your tree. I think I meant to show a couple of those as well. You could put your reindeer out that way, and other add-ons. So if you were to keep going on this tree look, icicles would be a great fit. I would probably also work in some of these cool mercury glass with acrylic. Those are with ice crystals, mercury glass with ice crystals. Those are a lot of fun. Look how those reflect the light. We carry that star in a platinum color as well. So we have it in gold, platinum, and in a strong silver color. Those could hang off of our branches and look really showy. We carry more of a stronger silver open weave ornament. So there's a lot of different things beyond what the kit includes that you could layer in. And it's kind of fun just to get a little bit of this and a little bit of that, which is why it's also fun to add in things you already own. So maybe the kit just freshens up the look that you have and inspires you for a whole new color direction, but some of the things you might have at home already blend in, and then you just have a really big full tree to decorate. A couple more tips on that snow pine. So when you're doing a tree that's green and you're really bored with it and you've wished for a snow pine look, here's a few different types that we carry. This one is a $5 stem. It's our favorite from last year, called a snowed pine spray, but it's very drapey and weepy. Look how pretty that is. That one would be a great tip. This was another one bringing back from last year. It's a juniper spray. So this is the 20-inch juniper frosted. It's smaller, so it's a great piece to add towards the top. If you're trying to get a snowed effect or a frosted effect on your tree, I always tell people get at least 12 to 15 stems. It takes a little bit to make a statement. So the kit's going to come with 7 snow pines of 2 different types. You could add another 7 or 8 pieces. Here's a balsam pine. That is a flatter piece. So this is the big one that comes in the kit. This one's a little bit smaller for $6, and it's flat. But because it has 3 parts to it, it's a really great one for being a showy piece because it will lay on the surface of a branch and fan out and really look full. It makes the tree look a little wider. Another popular piece, just showing some of the fun things. This is a flat cedar, and it's called the Snow Flat Cedar Spray 21 inch. Little bit of a frost on it, small amount of snow. So there you get the idea that even owning a boring green tree, you can get that snowed effect with just a few extra stems, and your tree looks fuller and it's just different one year, but you can change it next year. You can't go wrong with a few of those. So they're also indoor-outdoor safe, and we carry hundreds. So at the moment, we're sitting pretty good on snow pine stems. But you get the idea on how transformative just a few pine sprays can be for a regular boring green tree. All right, I think I covered all the tips on trees. Did I, Kate? Did I forget anything?
I think you got it.
And the audience is quieter than ever.
They're always quiet when I have like a camera on everyone's.
Well, it's a lot of tips in a quick order there. I'm going to pull a couple more ideas out for you here. Let's talk about the outside of your house. Whoops, I'm going to make a mess and drop a ladder here. Or drop a whole flower arrangement. Okay. This is the one we're going to talk about next because it has attacked me. This is it. We do all kinds of outdoor pieces, but we even include wall pockets in the mix because people do wreaths all the time. Wreaths they fit everywhere. We're all used to them. Sometimes they're flat enough to go between doors, but consider a wall pocket. So if you do the outside of your house, at my home, if I do a wreath and we have one nail in the siding allowed, so that's it. Every season though, I get something new on the house, and I've been using wall pockets because it's just something different. So we carry a lot of different metal ones and we try to get them a lot of detail, but there are many, many pieces in the store that are outdoor safe for that area that's covered and protected, but not exactly rained on. A wall pocket would fall in the category of don't let it get rained on, but if you have one that we can fill for you, or you want to check out our selection, we've been doing a lot more of those. We also are doing porch pots. So this one is one of my favorites. There are green pine bases and green pine stems that we sell individually or completely done up. If you walked through the store or checked online, I bet there's a good 20 porch pots designed online. They might range from $50 to $180, depending how big they are. We do them in plastic liner pots most of the time. We weight them all of the time. The idea of a plastic liner is you can set this in an antique bucket. You could drop it into a crock at your house. You could put it in a little wooden apple barrel kind of thing, whatever rustic container, or your garden pottery. If you are done with your garden pottery this year because it froze, all your plants are dead, scoop some dirt out, drop the pot into the center of the dirt, and it'll be stable in there. So these are outdoor pine sprays. Some of them are plastic, some of them are PVC. The ones that work best outside do not have paper stems, they have plastic stems. The snow can be fine outside too. And then we sell a bunch of fun picks. So our garden gnome pick here comes in two different styles. He is $29. So we've got the welcome message or the I'll be gnome for Christmas, of course. Those are funny. And then the most popular thing from last year, birch ball picks. So we brought those back. They're plastic, but they do have a really fun, realistic look to them. The large ones are $12.50. The small ones are $11.50. And for birch picks, I usually say buy a large and a small and put two in a pot, or two small ones if your pot's not very large. We carry all types of metallic picks. There's gold, silver, gunmetal, bronze, brown, okay, bronzy brown. They are probably all similar in price, which looks to be about $14 a piece. So those are great for outdoor pots, and we're kind of known for our porch pot kits, and that's what you'll find online too. If you're looking under kits where the tree is, there are kits that come with just assorted picks and assorted pine, and the idea is to put it in your pot of dirt. So we do workshops on that as well, where you just stick the stuff right in the dirt. Do it before the dirt freezes. That's the best tip ever. Otherwise, you got to figure out how to get frozen dirt.
Like your Christmas decor outside of
Yeah, today's a good day. You could do your pots today. You could start out with just pine, and as it gets closer to the season, add the red, add the glitz. We do have some other fun outdoor things, perfect for right now. This is $18.75. It's an outdoor safe tag, reversible for Christmas. 'Tis the season to be jolly. Again, that's only $18.75. That's a great thing for stashing for next year for a gift. but you can use it for both seasons. Prop it outside, hang it outside. A fun look that is about the least expensive two-season decor piece that we have. And then my personal favorite, the round sign. We have a display in the front, but it's a wooden sign, and you can change out the magnetic pumpkins, sunflowers, or Christmas tree. And those are on sale for $36, so that spans the season as well. Anybody have an outdoor bench? Do you keep a bench out in front of your house or a chair? This little guy is a reversible pillow. $36 for the pillow too. So at our house, if it's not windy, the pillows stay put. They do look cute out on the back porch, but those are fun pieces that we've got just to span the season for you when you're looking to do something different. Well, that is what I've got decided today. Do we have some questions? Sure.
She has a white tree. How do you go about decorating that, or what changes do you make?
If you have a white tree, I probably wouldn't use a lot of white trims. I'd use a lot of high contrast trims. I think our black tree is an inspiration. The black and white tree that we have here in the store called Plaid Tidings. Is that photographed on the online store, on the website, on Facebook? It's somewhere, Deb. Wherever Kate has put the picture, or you can message her and she'll send you a picture of it. But that tree is built on a white PVC tree, which is kind of an unusual base. We've even designed black trees before. So yes, you have to change your thinking and make sure everything you put on the tree contrasts. So that's a great tip. But the best part about a white tree, any color looks good on it. If you load it with silver, it looks amazing. If you put red, it looks amazing. So that would be a fun one to decorate. That's the only question we've got.
Yeah.
Wow. We must have...
Someone just said it's quiet because everyone's odd. Lorraine loves the gnomes.
Hi, Lorraine. How are you today?
Joyce says beautiful.
Well, hey, thanks for joining us. Yes.
On your frosted different branches.
Mm-hmm. The pine branches?
Yeah, I mean, you have all different ones, but when you do it, would you want to do
Oh,
some?
if you were purchasing, I'd maybe get two different types, a larger, a wider one, and a smaller one. It's easier to use the wide pieces towards the bottom and the smaller pieces towards the top.
So essentially you're saying pick two styles.
Two styles.
Two styles.
And 12 to 15 is about a minimum to make a nice statement on the front 2/3 of your tree. You can always add more next year, and they always look good blended too. They don't always have to be the same pine. If you're increasing your collection of frosted pine and you balance it on the tree, I don't know why you couldn't mix 4 or 5 types, but I'd probably start out by buying 2 different types of pine. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
When you bring the ribbon down from the bow, how are you attaching it to the bow?
So when I looped it and kind of gave it a little slack here, it laid on the surface of this branch, and I used 2 of the smaller pine tips to go across. It doesn't have to be twisted, it can just be bent to hold it. Usually I'm grabbing 2 different ones and twisting them together. Okay, you're gonna zoom in. All right, so I just swoop it down, find the spot where I'd like to tuck it, and I either take 2 pine tips and cross them to secure it and go over the top, or just take 1 pine tip and bend it so that it stays. Because by the time you get done decorating, you might have bumped it a couple of times if it's just tucked in. But all of our ribbon's wired, so it tends to nicely fold through the tree because it has that much body. And we only sell wired ribbon here, in fact. Great. Well, you gals are a very attentive audience. And this is my first workshop of the day, so I'm all warmed up. We have another one this afternoon, another full class. But the kit was an idea we put together last night. I think it's been appealing to people because it's simple. They don't have to make selections, and they know how much it's going to cost from the get-go, rather than starting to load a cart and getting beyond your budget. But you know, almost everybody who shops here once shops here again and adds more. And that's kind of the fun of it. You start out with a base idea, but next year I could add red to this and it would be amazing. Or I could add black ornaments and it would be amazing. Cranberry would look beautiful. And you could transform your tree year after year with just little changes. Change the ribbon is a great way to really give a new look to your tree. So the best part about our store is we're here to help, and all of our staff is trained to help you come up with tree looks, to create the stem sets. Often we're making them specifically for someone's tree look, and no one else has one like it. We're just custom crafting something that you can take home, and we leave you a sample in your purchase so you know how to fashion the rest of them. We pull your topper stems together in a little bundle so you know which ones go at the top. And with the tips that we share in videos, we try to make it simple so when you get to your house and it's Thanksgiving weekend, you can go back and remember what you saw because we all forget those things. But awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining me. I'm going to be here for questions today, and we'll be able to visit with you out front and help you find the things that make your home look amazing this year. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
All right.